more than 10 billion Indonesian rupiah. So 25% out of it is 2.5 billion Indonesian rupiah. Legally speaking, you are...
Now, for us, I think what's the most important, we'll have three main kind of title ownerships that we remain all this stuff. It is completely illegal. And it's very funny because I was speaking to a lawyer one day. Not very difficult for Indonesia to actually change this rule because it's written in the constitution.
Today, I had a meeting with some of the top lawyers, notaries, and consultants that you can find in Bali in the real estate industry. What's the reality about foreign investments in the real estate industry in Indonesia? So, a lot of people are still thinking that investing in the real estate in Indonesia means that you have to have a local partner to do what is called a nominee arrangement. And the reason why a lot of people believe that is because this type of arrangement has been around for a while. But you have to know one thing, this is 100% not legal. And the great thing with being surrounded by all of these people working in the real estate industry, and I'm not talking about real estate agents, I'm talking about people who are directly working with the government, hand in hand with them to improve the real estate environment in the whole country. We're talking about people who actually create change and communicate the rules and the way to do and proper good practices for investors to invest in the real estate in Indonesia. One thing that a lot of people are missing is that those nominee arrangements and all of the scams that happen in Bali and in Indonesia in general for the past decade are actually have no reason to happen today. Why? Because the government already made it really easy for foreigners to invest in Indonesia. And it's not about real estate only, it's about all kind of fields. There is now a proper way for foreign investors to do business in Indonesia without a nominee arrangement, without a local partner. Today, a foreign investor in Indonesia can easily create what is called a PTPMA, which is a proper company regulated by the Indonesian law that is owned up to 100% by a foreigner. And some of those companies require to have a local partner with a specific amount of shares, but more often than not, and especially in the real estate industry, it is totally possible to own 100% of the said company. Obviously, it all comes at a cost, but for most of the projects that are above 100K or 150K dollars investment, creating a PTPMA is definitely worth it. By doing so, foreign investors have access to be legally based in Indonesia, pay their taxes in Indonesia, having their legal residency in Indonesia with a work permit and all of the documents they need to operate their business. So when I still see a lot of people doing nominee arrangements that are 100% illegal in this way that they can't be disputed in the courts if there is a problem with the nominee, because this is an illegal arrangement. So whatever happens, when the foreigner will go to the court and try to dispute something that happened with the local, usually when the local is running away with the money, what will happen is that the court is just going to dismiss the case because there is no way you can dispute an arrangement that is illegal in the first place. And this is why, and this is the reason why so many people talked about scams that were happening in Bali and all around Indonesia, because they were actually, doing arrangements that were illegal in the first place. But today, with all of these informations available online, and if you're living in Bali, you have access to lawyers, you have access to notaries, and most of them are consulting for free. There is no reason why a lot of people should still fall for scams or nominee arrangements or other type of things that are happening in the business world. Now, about Reconnect, we decided to create an investment structure that would allow our investors to actually own shares of our company. Now, in the real estate industry in Indonesia, you will see a lot of people who, instead of actually having their investors inside the company, would just provide with leasing agreement and with the ROI return that they promise every year. The problem with lease agreement is this is a depreciating asset, which means that over the time, this asset is becoming cheaper and cheaper. Whereas when you actually have shares in a proper company that owns the land and that owns like real estate, this is an appreciative asset. So the more you keep it, the more you make money in the end. And that's the reason why we wanted to really work hard to find a way for our investor to be actually part of the company. So when the business is going well, when the price of the land is rising, and when we decide to sell the project, our investor can have an upside on their investment that will be significant.